Alright, so we're going to look at some more exponents. We're going to look at the problems 21 through 50. And these look at the rules of exponents. So I'm going to start by writing 22 out the long way, and then show this using the rules of exponents we see. So we have y cubed times y to the fifth. Remember, y cubed is y times y times y, because there's three of them. And y to the fifth is y times y times y times y times y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So if we count up all the y's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we get y to the eighth. Well, that was the same as adding up how many times we multiplied these. So the short way, or using our rules, is y to the third times y to the fifth is the same as y to the third plus 5, which is y to the eighth. So the long way kind of proves what it is, but we can use this shortcut notation to save us writing that out all the time. So let's jump down and let's look at 26, which does this slightly differently. This says y cubed squared, and y to the third all to the second power. Well, that's the same as y to the third times y to the third, right? Because it's asking us to take everything in parentheses and multiply it twice. There's everything in parentheses multiplied by twice. Well, that's the same as y times y times y times y times y times y. So let's count these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So y to the sixth. So the rule here, when I'm taking a power to a power, is y to the third, everything squared, is equal y 3 times 2, or y to the sixth. So these are the patterns that we're condensing by doing things this way. Well, let's put a lot of things in our parentheses here, and we'll use our shortcut rules. So with 30, I have negative 3 b to the fourth. Well, a negative to an even power is always positive. So this is going to be 3 to the fourth b to the fourth. So the power gets applied to each thing. I'll put a little extra parenthesis in there. But a even power to a negative number is positive. So we have 3 to the fourth b to the fourth. And so 3 to the fourth, let's see, 3 is 81 b to the fourth. All right, let's look at 34, where we get to play with some fractions, so exponents in the fractions. So 34. All right, so I have y to the fifth upstairs, x squared upstairs. Downstairs, we have y to the negative 2, x to the negative 5. Well, I'm going to use my rule of negative exponents here. This negative sign is pulling this whole thing upstairs and changing the sign. So I have y to the fifth, y squared, x to the fifth. This comes upstairs as x to the fifth. This comes upstairs as y squared. So that negative sign does for us. Well, these have the same base, so I add the exponents, y to the seventh. And these have the same base, so I add these exponents, x to the 7th. Now, in general, we tend to write variables in alphabetical order. So you could see it x to the 7th, y to the 7th. Sometimes some textbooks like when you repeat the power to do it like that. I think this middle one here is more clear. And we'll see why once we look at polynomials and we do a lot more things where the power becomes important. Having a clear understanding of which power is associated with which variable becomes important. All right, we're going to continue down this column of even ones, make sure that we see everything we can see here. So 38, so c cubed all to the negative 2. Now the negative 2 can be applied to each part of this fraction. I'm distributing the power through. Oh, there's my Ticketmaster warning. Sorry about that. But remember, the negative sign lets me pull this upstairs, as 3 squared upstairs, and pull this downstairs as c squared downstairs. Because the negative sign pulls you to the other side of the fraction and makes that power positive. And so I have 9 over c squared. All right, so all these rules stack together nicely. I'm going to look at 50, because 50 looks messy, has a lot of grouping symbols in it, and we'll just take it in piece by piece and see what we can do with it. So let me get all of these grouping symbols here. All right, so we have this, everything's to the 5th power, and then we have all these things happening inside. Also, if you watch the previous video, there's kind of invisible grouping symbols and fraction bars. You have to do the upstairs before you can do the downstairs. So we kind of have this hidden grouping symbol here. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to focus on this first and this first. I'll clean up my upstairs and downstairs. And then we're going to lastly focus on the outside. So we're working our way from the inside out. So using our laws of exponents, I'll rewrite the top of the fraction. Now, the negative 3 isn't changing for b yet. This 4 multiplies to each of these terms and the negative sign. A negative to an even is positive, and so I'll get x to the 12th, y to the 8th. That's my upstairs. Now my downstairs, the y squared is going to stay here. This 3 goes here and here, while a negative to an odd is still negative. So we're going to have negative b to the 6th, because 2 times 3 is 6, x to the 15th, because 3 times 5 is 15. And all of that to the 5th power. Okay, wasn't too bad. We still have some work to do. Let me shift this here. So let's use our rules to bring the negatives. So the only negative we have is this. So I'm going to take, I'm sorry, not the only negative we have. The only negative we have is with b. And the larger b is downstairs, but it's positive. We'll take this negative sign, we'll throw it out front, and I'll bring this b downstairs. That's all I'm going to do in this step. So b to the 6th, b to the 3rd, x to the 15th. Alright, so now I have everything on the inside lined up. I can use my rules of exponents to get all the b's in one place and all the x's in one place and all the y's. The bigger y is up here, but they're both positive. So y is going to stay up here. It's going to be 8 minus 2. So y to the 6th up top. The bigger power of x is downstairs. So it's going to stay downstairs. It's going to be 15 minus 12. So x to the 3rd. And these b's will add. So b to the 9th. Our negative is still out there. And everything to the 5th power. Well, that cleaned up really quickly there. A negative to an odd power is still negative. And now we're just going to distribute our power through everything. So y 5 times 6 to the 30th power over x 3 times 5 15th and b 9 times 5 45th. So y to the 30th, x to the 15th, b to the 45th. And this is our final form of this expression. All right, we'll look at scientific notation in the next 2 videos.